Hello everybody, we are reviewing today the basis of the pacemaker potential. Our objective today is to understand the ionic basis of the pacemaker potential. We said before that the SA node generates spontaneous action potentials. Really? How? How they generate spontaneous action potentials? This is the pacemaker cell. The pacemaker cells have a resting membrane of -60. The pacemaker cells have channels called F channels or H channels. These channels tend to be activated when the resting membrane potential tend to hyperpolarize. So hyperpolarization below -60 will activate these channels. These channels called H channels or F channels, from where we call it H channels. H for hyperpolarization because it tends to be activated on hyperpolarization, while F from funny because these channels have unusual funny activity. F from funny. What is this unusual funny activity? These channels are leaky to both sodium and potassium. Sodium outside the cell is more than inside the cell, so it tends to move inside the cell, while potassium is more inside the cell than extracellular fluid, so it will move out of the cell. So there will be sodium influx, influx mean entry, and potassium efflux, flux mean exit. But these channels are more leaky to sodium than potassium, so more positive charge enter the cell and the cell will gain positivity. The resting membrane potential will move from -60 toward positivity. It reach -50. So this first part of prepotential is the job of H channels or F channels. The resting membrane potential will change from -60 to -50. At -50, another channel activated, the transient calcium channels. Regarding calcium channels, there are two types of calcium channels: transient calcium channels with the letter T and long-lasting calcium channel with the letter L. Here in the prepotential, the second part of the prepotential, the activated channels are the transient calcium channels. When the transient calcium channels activated, there will be calcium influx. Why? Because the calcium is more in the extracellular fluid than intracellular fluid. This again will gain positivity inside the cell and the membrane potential move from -50 to -40. So the first part of the prepotential is the job of F channels, while the second part is the job of the transient calcium channels. When we reach -40, -40 is the firing level or threshold of the pacemaker cells. What is the mean of the firing level or threshold? When the potential reach this point, there will be action potential. There will be depolarization followed by repolarization. So at -40, the long-lasting calcium channels opened and there will be calcium influx leading to depolarization. The voltage again will move from -40 to about +20. The depolarization phase is done by the long-lasting calcium channels. There is no role for sodium in the depolarization phase. No role for sodium in the depolarization phase. At the peak of the depolarization, which is about plus 20, potassium channels opened, and there will be potassium efflux. This leads to the repolarization phase. At the top of the depolarization, potassium channels opened and potassium efflux occur, leading to negativity inside the cell, and this leads to the repolarization phase. When the resting membrane potential tends to decrease beyond minus 60, I mean hyperpolarization. This hyperpolarization will again activate the H channels, and another cycle of pacemaker potential begin. In summary, at minus 60, the funny channels open and they are responsible for the first part of the prepotential. At minus 50, the transient calcium channels opened and they are responsible for the second part of the prepotential. At minus 40, the firing level, long-lasting calcium channels opened and they are responsible for depolarization, and at plus 20, potassium channels opened and they are responsible for repolarization.